Hello and welcome to another exciting match of the Go Mode podcast Mentor Tournament. My name is Daaanty. I'm joined in the booth today by Amarith. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Excited to see this match today.
Yeah, this one should be really good. We've got Group C. We've got Gropemotron versus BumRushBlitz, and it looks like we are going to be getting started here very shortly.
Yeah, winner of this match goes on to fight Daddy Gamers in the next round.
All right, the racers have been issued the command, and they are going to be going live here in just a moment. For you guys joining us, this is going to be what we call casual or standard Uncle Assured. So we are going to have that opening sequence of the rain, and we'll see what Uncle's going to have, but it's Uncle Assured, so we get that.
Alrighty, the single arrow inside of Link's chest. While Daaanty, I assume, goes and fixes a little bit of audio stuff, as mentioned in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, I'm going to get that turned down just a little bit for you guys, so we're not blowing you out with game audio. Let us know if we need to make any further adjustments, but we're off to visit our uncle. He fell down the hole. He broke his legs. Poor guy. But we've got that sword, and off we go.
I know, he was hoping he'd be saved in the basement of the castle from that Majora. Ooh, a nice Kano Samaria right off the bat.
Yeah, both of our runners picking up those magic pots. You know, you may not want to use that cane as a weapon, but just in case, having a little bit of magic is always a nice thing to have going forward here.
It's like Gropemotron doing a little bit of farming on the green guards, trying to get that bomb.
Yeah, whenever you play standard mode, it weighs on a runner's mind a good bit to find a bomb. If you don't have the bomb, then we can't go and do the back of escape, potentially.
Yeah, it's a miss of 3 checks that really it always feels bad coming back to, because it's, what if I missed something really super important there and my opponent got the bomb drop and was able to pick.
You see, there was a shovel in the escape, so we might be able to route that in rather neatly after we do those Kakariko checks.
Yeah, it's just deciding whether they want to do it early with the Light World Kakariko checks, or after they potentially have, like, and route it in with Dark World Village of Outcast stuff. Because it is a little bit far from the timed racing game.
Yeah, no doubt. So we know we're going to get a small key either in this chest or that Dark Cross chest. But first we have to take care of this ball and chain guard. He can always kind of be a curveball here early on. But BumRushBlitz taking it down very easily, using those pots and sword strats, getting that key I mentioned, and it looks like we're going to be off to the dark part of escape here.
Yeah, and Gropemotron taking care of that guard, I think, purely with pots. I was looking away for half. 2 pots takes him out. Don't even have to worry if you don't have a sword.
Yeah, the pots always come in handy doing that tempered sword damage. And while we are on our way out of Escape, I do want to give a quick shout out to Ralen Tankir doing our tracking for us today. We do appreciate that, making our jobs much easier here in the booth.
It's always appreciated having a track.
And since we are kind of going through here, both of these guys still looking for bombs, we do want to make mention, since this is the Mentor Tournament, people may ask, what is the Mentor Tournament about? So these runners filled out a survey based on their skill levels and what they have completed. And we have a plethora of seasoned racers, or mentors in this case, signed up. We do have mentors paired with them today, and I'll get that info up on the display here in just a bit for you guys. But we want to thank every mentor that's signed up so far in this tournament. It's been a great help to these racers.
Oh, BumRush finding his first bomb off the rats. So we'll definitely be able to check those 3 items at the back.
Yeah, and Gropemotron here has invested a good bit of time looking for a bomb drop and has not been lucky enough to find one just yet. Every time these runners swing that sword, that's about 20 plus frames or so that, you know, you're just standing still. But luckily, there we go, getting that bomb drop. Going to be hightailing it out of here and heading to the back. So what are we going to find back here today?
Something to show off to that sick kid. That's what we found.
Indeed. That bottle, that's kind of a, I don't want to say fetch quest. It's kind of right in our line. Just a quick pit stop to visit the sick kid and show him, hey, we found a bottle. But yet to be seen if that's going to be of any value for our runners today. But I'm sure they are going to be a little excited to have that green goo. A little bit of safety from that is always a nice find.
And a bunch of money for us left in the Sanctuary. How nice is Zelda?
That's a really nice find, honestly, because these guys don't have to worry about getting 100 rupees to get to that bottle vendor. That's really going to kind of take that one little bit of stress early game out of play. We'll be able to buy bombs as well if we don't find any more. But it looks like BumRush is going to be headed up to give us a check at the lumberjack ledge.
Never necessarily a bad check. It's always one of those checks that's like comes down to personal opinion of, do you want that weighing on the back of your mind of, is Aghanim going to be required? The item will always tell you whether or not, at the very least. And Misery Mire's required. There's a flute.
So we may or may not need that just yet. We got to get those map checks. And it looks like we just did. There was a green pendant. That was awfully quick. It looks like that was a Tower of Hera, and we had both 5/6s inside of Light World, so it's still a possibility that Mire could be a pendant. We'll have to wait and see.
Or if there's a potential unique item that we need to progress in Mire, or the Mire area.
Yeah, very true. You never want to see flute there because there's so much potential as far as routing time and everything. Because if we find out it is going to be required, then it's obviously going to be best to get it as soon as possible. But we're still going to need boots. We're still going to need Aga access, so I wouldn't stress too much about it just yet. Looks like we did get a tree pull of 20s there on BumRush's side. That's nice.
We'll more than likely be able to afford Zora if they decide to swing up that way.
And Gropemotron exiting the Thieves' Hideout. Gonna have to be a little careful here. Down to just 1 heart. dodging that bird. Doesn't look like that is going to be an issue for him today.
And looks like BumRush doing Kakariko in reverse in hopes of potentially finding a bomb, and if not, I'm going to buy some bombs for 50 rupees.
Well, there's part of our Aga access. At least we could kill Ganon with a Master Sword, potentially, so I'm sure these guys aren't going to turn that down.
Either way, I wouldn't complain about a nice early Master Sword. So when the game starts getting stingy on the rest of the items, that you start worrying.
All right, BumRush giving us our first look of the chicken hut, just 10 arrows. So we still have that bottle vendor, and we still have those plethora of checks up at the Kakariko Well and Blind's hideout. And unfortunately, bottle vendor shortchanging us a bit, taking our hundo, giving us just 5 back.
It's an investment, really.
Yeah, I guess you're paying 95 rupees to put your mind at ease that your progression's not there. But speaking of progression, there's a glove and ether as well as blue cane in the hideout. That's a nice find. Gropemotron headed into Cac Well.
And half magic for BumRush.
Blind's hideout having all the goodies for these guys today. The well has the mirror, though. That's potentially huge. We're going to need that. That could tidy up our routing a bit once we get Dark World access.
Yep, and there's still plenty of checks to go to give us at least some Dark World access before having to head to Aghanim potentially required. I think it's just a matter of, is Aghanim going to be our Dark World access at the initial, or are we going to get the other glove, hammer, or moon somewhere along the line before that, and just sort of put Aghanim on the back burner?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Just, let's see, 3 bombs there in library. We do have the race game still. That dig spot is still kind of looming over these guys. But we do have all of South Shore. I know they don't want to go dungeon diving just yet inside of Eastern. We don't really have a way of clearing it. You can always do it in one go. That's always a nicer way of doing it. But let's see what race game has for us.
Some more bombs.
All right, so BumRush did opt to pick those up since like hard committing to the top there, but is going to be jumping down. Looks like we are going to get a check of that dig spot. Gropemotron just heading straight to South Shore, so very little divergence so far. Obviously, we kind of have the, pretty much the standard bread and butter standard mode start.
And just a shield for their trouble in the dig spot.
I'm sure these guys are not going to turn down a shield, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure, the boots or a hook shot or something along those lines would be a little more desired.
And those are some flippers in the dam.
All right, so that is going to put all of South Shore into logic. We don't have to worry about these guys potentially doing fake flippering and any sequence breaking. This is all going to be in logic this time, so we'll see what we can find. But for now, Gropemotron is going to be giving us our first check of the mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, and here's hoping that they do find enough money that they can make their way up to Zora and get that out of the way while they're routing everything else.
Yeah, we do have a good bit of money difference here. 408 on BumRush's side. There's a bow for Gropemotron and 300 bucks and a tempered sword.
Oh wow, such a stacked Moldorm Cave.
That Moldorm Cave could have had pretty much everything you could desire for early game. We got our bow. We got enough money to check Zora. That kind of puts their mind at ease there. Gropemotron diving into the water. We may see a skip of the Ice Rod Cave.
Not sure. It's very likely they're just checking the island, going to Hobo, and then we'll route in Ice Rod just after checking Hobo. But we'll see what they end up doing.
BumRush collecting their goodies. Getting that tempered sword, that bow, and all that money. Hobo's only got 3 bombs for us today.
Though picking up that tempered does make me sort of think that Aghanim will be our Dark World access. I've noticed, I don't know if it's any consistency of a thing, but anytime I pick up 3 swords, it tends to be having to go to Aghanim for your Dark World access, because they make so many swords available for you to be able to go to Aghanim. There has to be at least 2. You know what I'm saying, right?
Oh yeah, I do. I follow exactly what you're saying. And unfortunately, BumRush taking a death there. Those crabs do hit for a ton. You hate to see that happen. But since, they could have skipped that glove, with that being in the overworld, it would have been easy to get back in to the back of Escape to get the bottle, which led to another sword. But with having 3 at this point, Aga is looking very probable. We'll have to see how things pan out. But just a piece of heart inside Ice Rod Cave, so maybe BumRush gambles and doesn't go back. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, at least they're not set too far back by having the actual flippers and not having the fake flipper. And we will still very likely see an Eastern Palace play before running into Aghanim.
And I'm not sure how well these 2 runners can do the dark rooms. I know a lot of runners throughout this mentor tournament so far in the first 2 rounds have learned a lot of new tricks such as bomb jumps and some of these dark rooms. So this will be a good opportunity, unless the lamp shows up, on the way, to really, test these guys to see maybe what have they learned or what do they already know.
True, and the lamp will actually be the true indicator that we might need to go to Aghanim too, because we are still waiting on that for Aga to actually be in logic.
And just 10 arrows hanging out on the Zora ledge. So is Zora going to be worth our time today?
Definitely not one of the worst things Zora has given. Just a big old piece of love. His love and affection for $500.
Indeed. A heart container is always nicer to find, it's better than, say, like, a single rupee. But still, we don't have any progression just yet. Gropemotron is headed back now to route in that dig spot.
I'm wondering if they're going to check Agina's cave after that, or just save and quit and head straight to Eastern from here.
Alright, so Gropemotron picking up their shield. We're going to be saving and quitting. Might be making this Sahasrara into Eastern play. That looks like what BumRush is doing.
Yeah, we have 6 checks overall in the eastern area between Sahasrara and Eastern Palace, and the Dark Room in Eastern Palace, I would at least consider to be one of the easier Dark Rooms to handle. Especially if you have a sword.
Yeah, indeed. The first side of it is definitely one of the easier ones through the game. That back one, though, with the Igors, can be a little tricky sometimes. Looks like Sahasrara has a whole lot of love and like $50, I believe, for us and some bombs, but not a whole lot, nothing, no progression there. We'll see what these guys decide to do. Looks like BumRush is headed into Eastern. We'll see how far they go.
Yeah, we are running out of locations though for progression to be, so. Eastern Palace might be where it's happening.
Yeah, we could see something crazy like a lamp and a moon pearl show up right here. We do have 3 unique items, or rather 3 item checks that can be here in Eastern. Alright, so the big key early, gonna be able to route that in without having to do the dark room. You know, again, lamp could still show up here.
Yeah, at this point it's kind of feeling like it will probably be the lamp that shows up between here and Agina's cave somewhere. Because the likelihood of finding both like Hammer and Moon Pearl, or Moon Pearl and another glove, seems kind of low, but hey, you never know. Weirder things have happened, right?
That's very true, and the good news for both of these guys, if we're leaving something of major value, there's that lamp though, but if we're leaving something of major value down at Agina, both of these guys have done it.
Oh, that's a rude hint, Kyle.
that hint is fantastic. All right, so that's 2 of our 3 items here. That's going to be a nice find here for these guys. That blue mail going to make things a little easier going forward. It's always nice taking less damage.
Yeah, blue mail effectively doubling your health, always nice to see. And the cape.
So that's our 3rd item. So we know we're not going to get anything except a dungeon item from Armos. So if you're in these guys' shoes, what do? Do you go check Agina and then do Aga, or do you just go straight Aga?
In my opinion, having the mirror, at least what I would do is I would go up Death Mountain first and at least knock out Hera, because then next when you do take your Dark World access, you have both your 5-6 crystals and be able to route in the big red bomb at some point really early.
Yeah, that's actually a really smart idea. I totally blanked that we had that mirror. totally blanked also that Death Mountain was even in play at this point. So that is actually a really smart idea. We'll see if these guys do that once we get through Eastern here. So both of our runners in the Armos fight. BumRush had a little trouble with the start, so did Gropemotron, but doing a fantastic job to recover this. BumRush finishing them off, getting that map and that 5-6 crystal. Gropemotron right behind him. So basically a little bit of sync here, both of these guys holding that first crystal above their head.
And now we'll see where they decide to go.
And if I recall, Gropemotron did not check the Lumberjack ledge. So that could come into play.
Gropemotron taking a moment to think. Definitely don't blame, gotta look at your options.
Yeah, having a little thinking time, maybe conversing something over with their mentor, trying to get some routing suggestions in there, or just kind of analyzing the situation.
Yeah, and if they're using a map tracker or something, taking a look like, well, what's left to do? Maybe fill in something. Espion confirmed Chris that both runners did indeed check Lumberjacks. They both are aware of the flute.
Okay, that is going to be good then. That kind of puts my mind at ease a little bit for Gropemotron's sake, but just 20 bucks from our old man, but we do get that nice save and quit point. Always nice to have that.
Pretty standard for the old mans. What they usually do. Oh, hey, you helped me out, thank you. Here's 20 bucks. Let's see what's inside Spectacle Rock today. Looking like BumRush are probably going to check the inside after doing Tower of Hera and getting their map check on Dark World if they decide to check them out.
Just 20 bucks inside of Spectacle Rock. Gropemotron opting to not get that hint. Potentially BumRush will. We'll see. Picking up that small key, that's not something you really want to see here. May have to go do that coffee break room.
But at least the 10th enemy has the bomb.
Indeed. And both of these guys still following in each other's footsteps. So far, this has been pretty much linear. You know, do those standard early game checks, and you know, this is kind of all we have left as far as a decent amount of checks in the game. So we'll see if Hera is going to have anything of value for us.
Or if it decides to continue to mess with us, just give us a hammer and then nothing on East Death Mountain.
Yeah, that would be something you definitely don't want to see.
Don't mind me, I'm just always thinking of all the ways that the sea just can decide to be rude to you.
That just means you're always prepared for worst case scenario.
You kind of have to be, right? It's a big old game of what if.
Yeah, you always hope those what if scenarios don't come into play, but when they do, it's kind of like, I'm glad I thought of this. But Gropemotron now getting that big key as well, so up the tower we go. We've got that Tempered Sword. That's going to make Moldorm pretty easy. Another hint that's just great.
At least the hint tile seems to be following in Navi's footsteps, telling us information that we already know.
Exactly. Alright, so 3 bombs out of the big chest.
Last item on Moldorm.
This could be very telling. We're going to get the green pendant from here. So we do have the opportunity to go see what Sahasrara has. That's one of those nice out-of-the-way checks at this point, as well as Agina. Or we just go dive Aga. This is kind of a mess, but let's see what Moldorm's got. BumRush is dropping in with that Tempered Sword. Got to slash in. And oh, unfortunately getting hit, falling down the center hole. And that's the one place you never want to get hit into, because this means we're falling down 2 floors. Gonna have to walk all the way back up.
Big 30-second setback.
All right, so now Gropemotron trying his hand at Moldorm. Looks like we may have got a poke there. That could be problematic. We'll have to wait and see. Gets a second slash in.
Yeah, that was definitely a poke.
Yeah, because here we are at fast Moldorm on Gropemotron's side. But luckily, getting that swipe in, taking him down, and BumRush following suit there. Nicely done. Both of these guys getting 10 bombs, the Uncle Bombs, for their troubles. And we're going to have these guys synced up yet again, holding this green pendant above their head.
I think the runners are just in agreement to try to make sure that they finish the bosses at the same time.
Yeah, that could be an unintentional thing that they're doing. I like it a lot. All right, so if this hint inside Spectacle Rock, as long as BumRush checks it, if this hint has some valuable information, this could be a big swinging thing since Gropemotron decided to skip it.
Or does it tell us more information we already know?
Well, that's kind of a nice hint at this point. We've already talked to one grumpy fish and got a full heart. So that means we can just write Catfish off entirely. Yeah, it's a couple minutes, I guess, if you have to walk there with no boots.
Yeah, but I'd rather walk that hint tile and find that out than walk all the way to Catfish just to find out. Not gonna be needing that.
Yeah. All right, so a little bit of divergence here. BumRush going to be turning in that green pendant. Gropemotron, however, is headed up Aga's tower. Going to see what item is on the pyramid ledge. We know that this is potentially required at this point.
It's very likely required. We need, otherwise, right off Aghanim, we would need both the hammer and the moon pearl. Green pendant having just a shield. So one of those items needs to be a moon pearl once we get into Dark World. So very likely our moon pearl is sitting on the pyramid ledge, or in Agina's cave.
Yeah, if it's Agina... Oh, and it looks like BumRush is going to make the Agina play before making the Aga play.
It's kind of one of those, it just feels so bad having to run around and check these last few locations before heading to Aga, because it's the, well, what if what if the Moon Pearl is there? Because if the Moon Pearl is in Agina's cave, then you're you're in a little bit better position once you enter the Dark World through Aghanim.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Looks like BumRush is going to go ahead and walk over here and check out what's on the ledge, but it's just 10 arrows, so don't need that today. Alright, it's another one of those hold your breath moments. Let's see, what is Agina going to have for us? Ooh, a whole lot of nothing. Just 3 bombs. Aga is the play. Gropemotron doing it right, apparently. So here we go. Already at the top of the tower. Just got to go knock back 6 shots at our boy Aghanim. So chat, what do you like? How many blue balls are we going to have today? Oh no, and unfortunately BumRush is worried about Ice Rod Cave. You know, BumRush did take that death to the crab over here. That is going to be a bit of a time sink just to get a piece of heart. Alright, so no blue balls so far, 2 in here. Amarith, what do you like here? How many blue balls are we going to see?
I think the average is like 2 or 3, so I'll go with 2 and try to be nice. Well, that's 2 right there, so...
Well, we're at 2 already.
Hopefully none more.
Yeah, I'll say 3 just to be different. I'm hoping for their sake it's going to be really low. You never want it to take forever. Oh, and unfortunately, there's a 3rd. Alright, so now bled the light world dry. BumRush is headed into Aga Tower.
I think that was 5 blue balls.
Yeah, I believe so. It's not the worst case, but definitely not best case. So here we are on the pyramid. I'm kind of expecting to see the Pearl. Oh my goodness. This is one of those scenarios where you just kind of have to ask, is this a plando?
Certainly has that kind of feel, right?
Yeah, and you hate it when it happens, you know, because the one thing I'm in the situation here of, all right, well, there wasn't a whole lot of progression from Tower of Hera or the mountain. What if my opponent just went ahead and gambled and went straight Aga? You know, that benefits you a good bit here. If you were to make that gamble, it's a risky one though.
Yeah, depending on how you play, it's always like either on your mind or just you don't think about it at all, what your opponent's trying to do. Because I know for some people, they wouldn't want to think about it just because it would basically psych you out and then you start playing terribly.
Yeah, that is, you know, that is the case too. You know, if you think about stuff like that too much, and you kind of get off your own game, as you were saying. But you know, everyone has their own mental strategies coming into these events. But here we go into Palace of Darkness. Gropemotron going to be seeing if this is bow locked or not, but we've got a bow, so not really going to matter too much.
And we at least got the key there, so we'll check out the right side first, or go straight up the middle. Straight up the middle.
Yeah, this could be a good, nice little route they've got here. If we get another key, which we do, we may see Gropemotron check the vanilla big key spot, drop down, check that other one, and then go right side. At that point, we should have enough keys to advance.
And just a heart piece up there.
Alright, so another useless hit for Gropemotron inside a pod. The BumRush dropping in on Area 1 now, going to be experiencing those 5 blue balls. And then going to be having that Dark World access.
Maybe Grope will get lucky and the hammer will be here on the right side of pod and not have to take a death after opening these 2 chests here. Or maybe.
Yeah, you still don't want to have to mirror, but that would be the dream.
But that is a Titan's Met.
Ooh. The Infinity Gauntlet, the Titan's Mids, whatever you want to call it. That's going to be pretty interesting. That's going to give us that access to Dark World over in the Thieves Town area if we don't get anything as far as a hammer throughout pod. You know, I don't like to speculate too terribly much with these, you know, for the runner's sake, but unfortunately, this is an ideal scenario where you could see a hammer in the Pyramid Fairy.
And we got our map check. Pendant on Ice Palace, I caught.
There's another pendant inside or at Thieves Town, so that does mean Mire is one of our crystals. Therefore, we are gonna need that flute today.
Which means, when in the world are we gonna find the boots?
I'll be honest, right as you said that, he was opening that chest and got that big key. I was really hoping that was gonna be the boots just popping out right then. But no, we do have that big key, so now we can go ahead and finish up all the checks here. Except for Helmasaur. Gotta have that hammer first.
Yeah, he's kind of mean like that, and he's hidden behind a couple moles. And those turtle thingies.
Yeah, those turtles, such an annoying enemy. It gives so many people trouble, especially in the dark, if you don't have Fire Rod in there. But it does look like Gropemotron got a second shield in here, so that's technically going to be all 3 of our shields. I guess Laser Bridge is in logic.
Bombos in the big chest.
Okay, so we've got Bombos. If we had Hammer, that would put Pendant Ice into logic, but who wants to do that?
I don't think anyone, but it could also be that Pendant Ice is really where it might be at, because with Thieves Town also Pendant.
Yeah, we're still gonna need that hammer to finish it off, but man, this is a wild scenario here.
It's like, where do you go?
Well, the next play I would make personally, I would be heading to Thieves Town, or the Village of Outcast area. We've got the cape, kind of wondering what's on that ledge now, since we do have that item. Graveyard Ledge is also in play for us because we've got the mirror. So a good bit of checks, as well as all of South Dark World, can be done by this this portal over here. So I'm gonna be able to navigate through here a good bit. Just it's not a convenient way of doing it.
Yeah, and even then, at the very least, considering Thieves Town is a pennant, you'll at least be able to swing all the way south and be able to do Crystal Swamp Pal just going all the way down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because then you at least make it up in well, at least I'm at least getting one crystal out of this. Well, aside from not having hook shot.
Well, we don't have hook or hammer, so there's one item in there. You know, we could see that ever illustrious Plando thing of you know, a hammer inside the first chest or the bombable wall of Swamp Palace, but
given the seed so far,
we've had enough craziness. We wanted to get back to some normalcy for Rando, if you will.
Can we come back to regular town, please? For the sake of the runners. Sometimes I do wonder as a commentator if I am indeed actually cursed and just make all seeds bad in my present.
Every commentator feels that way at some point or another. Alright, so Bumrush getting their Titan's Mitts as well. Gropemotron getting that item from Skull Woods. Just 3 bombs. Let's see what's on the left side.
Only one item remaining here in Skull Wood. It'll be a good one, a bad one, or nothing.
Alright, so no item. Not yet, at least. So off we go. We'll see where Gropemotron decides to go from here.
It's looking like a check of the bumper ledge and probably graveyard. And then, was Grope the one that checked the hint in Spectacle Rock, or no?
Yes, they were. So, oh, no. Grope did not. So we may be getting a check of Catfish as well. But Bumper Cave Ledge only has a piece of heart. So not going to be getting that today. No use wasting time there.
Well, it looks like we're skipping that and heading into the Village Outcast Thieves Town. At least for now. Bumrush picking up their mirror shield and making their way through the dark maze to finish off what they can in pop.
Alright, bombable hut, just $50. Gropemotron, meanwhile, picking up their bombos.
Oh, some nifty little red mail there in the treasure game.
Yeah, it's always a nice find. Alright, so we're plundering Thieves Town, at least the first 4. Got that small key. Not the ideal thing you want to see when you're hammerless.
Absolutely not. I'm curious to see where BumRush heads in as soon as they do enter Dark World. Are they going to follow the same steps as Gropemotron? Go elsewhere towards like Graveyard.
Looks like BumRush is going to forego all of Skull Woods. That's going to benefit them a good bit.
Yeah, I can't really blame them with Fire Rod still not being in play yet.
Yeah, it's kind of put your mind at ease that there's no progression in the front of Skull Woods. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, but there's a heart piece in that fourth chest. Gropemotron gonna opt to leave Thieves Town, probably gonna be heading south. We do have the Titan's Mitts. We will be able to see what the blacksmith has for us, as well as the purple chest potentially, but for now we're gonna go play a little dig game.
Yep, because the dig game guy does not like it when you carry a partner along with you. I remember finding that out the first time and trying to figure out what the heck, why won't you let me play?
Yeah, unfortunately, you just can't route things in that neatly. But I think every runner that's played this at least a few times has experienced that once or twice. All right, so the dig game has $5 whole. After paying 80, you get $5 whole back. I think that's a sound investment.
Sounds like a typical carnival game. So things to keep in mind, we left 2 items in the back of Thieves Town, and there's 1 item in the back of Skull Woods.
Yeah, and if the items aren't for Thieves Town aren't hammerlocked, then they both could be leaving them behind, and have full access to them at them as things are right now.
Yeah, it's just a tough call of, do you want to finish Thieves Town hammerless?
Yeah, and oh, it looks like we did get the magic powder, so off we go to back into Light World. We're gonna go ahead and knock out this magic bat.
I mean, who knows? Maybe that crazy bat has a hammer. Nope, just some archery practice.
Yeah, 10 whole arrows.
Now we gotta take the long way back to Dark World.
Oh yeah, we don't have a hammer. Oh no, this could be a little bit of yeah. So maybe BumRush decides to not do this. We'll have to wait and see. Ooh, he's gonna do it. So they're still kind of following in each other's footsteps.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they both could have taken the purple chest with them. Wouldn't have really changed too much, just a small out of the way to go pick that back up on your way back through Dark World.
It would have been slightly quicker since they had to go back into Dark World to mirror again, I think, to pick up that purple chest, because now, like as you said, we do have to walk back over there. And for safety reasons, these guys may or may not want to try to jump down the hole with the purple chest. Sometimes you can't enter places, but we do know that you can jump into that hole with the purple chest. It's kind of funny looking when you do it, but, it follows you in.
I think I'm not sure of this, maybe someone could correct me. I think it's because you're forced to go into there, and the chest basically has no choice but to follow.
It's possible that's why. Alright, so Gropemotron headed south, has the purple chest, the lunchbox, as it were, trailing him. But we've got a few checks here. We've got K45, we've got Stumpy, we've got Hype Cave, or the K formerly known as Hype. Just a heart container in it. Looks like Gropemotron may have put that chest in a bad spot. Oh,
Okay.
luckily grabs it. That had me worried for a bit, but getting bailed out there.
I have to admit, I was a little worried.
All right, so Stumpy, just 20 bucks.
Big old pile of money in that lunchbox today. Gropemotron likely heading over into the Hype Cave now, and then probably dip into Swamp Palace potentially for that first item if nothing's in Hype Cave. And we will find out where BumRushBlitz goes now that they have finished their checks in the front of Skull Woods.
Yeah, we've got 5 items in Hype Cave. Very likely we find something here, or its potential. We do have Graveyard Ledge as well. There's a bug net. That's something.
That's something.
All right, 50 bucks, a single rupee, a blue boomerang, and 50 bucks. Does this mean that Graveyard Ledge is where we need to go, or is it back at Thieves' Town?
Or is the seed gonna be rude and put the hammer in the bomb bolt wall in the first check of Swamp Palace?
I think that's where Gropemotron is headed. Gonna take a look.
And this seed has been kind of rude so far. I wouldn't put it past it at this point.
I mean, you're here, you might as well check it, but this is kind of going to be the telltale, I think. One of these guys is potentially going to find some progression in these 2 checks, but here we go. BumRush checking the Graveyard Ledge. Ooh,
He's hard on Graveyard.
yeah, just a piece of heart. So, backup thieves is what it's starting to look like.
All right, Hintile, what have you got for us?
All right, cash is under some rocks, so either bonk rocks or the desert ledge is potentially out of check. Or we don't need to do it now, but our tracker pointing out in chat as well. We've got Ice Palace open. That is something we could go to. We don't want to because it's a pendant and we don't have that hammer, but it is possible. Oh my God! It's the book.
Are we
That's
fetching
incredible.
to the Bombos tablet for the hammer?
Well, see, I mentioned it earlier, and God, I'm gonna feel terrible if I've caused it to happen with a curse. But here we go with a book. So this will get us into desert if that's not boots lock, or if we find the boots along the way. That pyramid fairy is in play.
It's at least sort of a relief, right? Like, at least we got access to a crystal dungeon again. We'll be able to do the red bomb after this.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of it is going to depend on if it's boots locked or not. There is a hint here, as well as 2 items. So it is possible that we get what we need. I'm sure these guys are kind of itching to find their boots. Once we have those boots, we'll be able to go get that flute and start going around rather quickly.
Yeah, Boots is gonna give us all the speed today, thinking about it. But yeah, while Desert is nice, having that open, having red fair, big red bomb open after all this, Ice has still got to be lurking on the back of your mind. Like, oh, that bombos just weighing on me.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Gropemotron heading into Desert Palace. 2 items here in the desert.
Not even wanting to look at the torch first.
Yeah, well, no, taking the long scenic route, but that's okay. So off we go. We're going to see what's on the torch. It is the big key, so we can't finish it. But then again, we might find boots here.
They might just be.
All right, so we are locked. That is $20, and unfortunately,
Small keys in the big chest.
All right, so do you go and head on up to check that ether tablet, or do you go to Thieves Town? I'd say Thieves Town, but you know.
Yeah, looking like Gropemotron's heading towards Thieves Town. I'd probably be considering doing the Ice Palace play at about this point. Just feels so bad. Like every play in the sea just feels bad.
Yeah, nothing really stands out as like a solid play. Everything just kind of feels like one of those theoretical power plays, if you want to call it that, where it's just, if you make the right wild call from the start, then, you know, you get a lot of progression, but it's just not, like, in the odds for you to do it from the start. Alright, so Bum Rush in Hype Cave, getting that bug net, all the money, and that blue boomerang. Gropemotron, meanwhile, cleaning up and heading on over to the graveyard ledge.
And looks like BumRush is actually heading towards Ice Palace, potentially.
This is something we haven't seen yet. I like this play. We will be able to check a decent amount of items here. Just won't be able to clear it unless Hammer shows up.
Oh, Fire Rod and Misery Mire. That is a big hint.
That is huge information for Bum Rush.
And we have Gropemotron heading over to the Catfish, who, as we got from that earlier hint tile, will be giving us just a couple arrows.
So there's a big key for Ice Palace. That is going to be something we can check, even without the hammer.
And while BumRush is making work in Ice Palace, Gropemotron making their way up to the Ether Tablet to see if that is the answer.
Yeah, it's very possible that could be it. There is another hint here. I think they may go back up to check it after we bomb these Stalfos, and that requires the hammer. Well, that's not very useful for us. We're still looking for a hammer. We don't really care about maps.
Now, if that hit were reversed, I'd be a lot more interested.
And BumRush looked like he was going to set up for the Ice Palace bomb jump, and then realizing, hey, I can't clear this out. I don't need to do the bomb jump. Let's just go through the dungeon the way it's intended. I like the heads-up play there, thinking that through. But Ether Tablet over on Gropemotron's side, only 20 bucks. So let's see what their next play is going to be.
Spawning at Sanctuary, probably gonna dip the back of Thieves down.
Yeah, it's kind
but
of
I've been proven wrong.
Pick your pendant poison is what we're dealing with right now. Alright, so 2 checks coming up here for BumRush. Oh, and it's the hook shot! That opens up East Death Mountain for us. We can't quite finish Swamp just yet, but that's a huge find.
It's a very nice thing to find here. There's second item as a piece of heart. Hey, what if Hammer is in Thieves Town at this point?
Well, if it is, then both of these guys are going to be walking away with different progression that the other one doesn't have, and they're both in kind of weird places. The thing is, if Gropemotron does get that hammer, I think it's going to push him further and further away from that hook shot for a longer period of time. Just kind of seeing how this is panning out. There's 50 bucks. So I believe that was all 3 items.
Indeed it was, by BumRush noping out of the palace.
Yeah, based on how this is playing out, even if we do find Hammer here in Thieves, I kind of like the situation BumRush is in. BumRush has that hook shot. There are a ton of checks on East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain, as Blackwax points out in chat. So yeah, this is huge.
As well as having the knowledge that your fire rod is in Misery Mire.
You know, and I want to point this out. I'm gonna be that guy. I said once we got the Bombos and the Titan's Mitts that we could go in to Ice Palace, but who wants to do that? Both of these guys proving that they didn't want to, just based on, you know, you don't have a hammer, you can't clear it, it's a pendant. We're gonna check everything it's possible to check until we get there.
Also, the group check the Thieves Town hint. I did not catch it if he did.
I think he did, and I missed it myself. So now he knows something potentially that even we didn't know.
Maybe he now knows to aim for the Eye of Goma.
If only I knew that. Alright, so Paradox kind of coming up empty at the bottom, but we got 5 checks up top. We got Piece of Heart, 20 bucks, 5 bucks. Then we gotta take this little detour, walk on to the other ones, a big old heart container, and another heart piece. So, Paradox Cave really not having a whole lot for us.
It was a very healthy Paradox Cave.
So for those just joining us, Hookshot was an Ice Palace. Ice Palace, a pendant Ice Palace that you can't even clear due to not having a hammer, so it never feels good.
And we had for Gropemotron the compass in the attic and map in the basement. So that means that there is an item in that big chest there.
And that's another thing you don't want to see if you're Gropemotron. But here we go with the blind fight. Let's see how Grope can do with the script. Phase 1 doing really nice. Off we go into phase 2. Just a little off script there, but I think he's going to be able to salvage this out. We're on red mail. This is going to be super easy for him. And down goes Blind. Nicely done. Oh, but BumRush getting the boots.
There's the item we were looking for.
This was a pick your pendant poison. And unfortunately, Gropemotron picked wrong and BumRush picked right by doing Ice Palace. And that is leading to any and everything that we could want. We see Ether is our Turtle Rock medallion. And that is nice information because we already have that.
Oh, and Silver's up there on the floating island.
The seed giveth at this point. You just have to make your way into a pendant ice, and then the seed just giveth.
It had to stop being stingy at some point, right?
I mean, there's only so many checks. Eventually, you're gonna run out of checks, and you gotta get the good stuff to beat it.
Although the question still remains, where is that hammer?
Well, I'm gonna keep clinging to this. We do have the boots. We can clear desert. Very, very possible, but it looks like Gropemotron has sniffed out where to go, running out of locations, I believe. So here we go into Ice Palace. That is going to be exactly where they need to go.
Definitely will be happy to see their hook shot when they get it.
All right, so we're in Spiral Cave. Let's see what we got.
Just a little bit of help in that spiral cave, but it looks like we're off to grab that flute.
Yeah, this is going to be really nice for BumRush. We're going to be able to, well, we're going to check these bonk locations first, it seems. Most likely we're going to see BumRush go ahead, get that flute activated, get to that mire area, and this will get BumRush into desert, as well as potentially mire. We don't know what that medallion is just yet, but if we have it, then we can go ahead and clear that. Unfortunately, this is one of those scenarios where it's looking very likely that hammer is going to be our go mode item.
Possible, but we are still looking for the ice rod too, so...
Oh, yeah, we are, aren't we? Ooh, that's never fun.
Chat still keeping the pedestal dream alive. Because while hammer cannot be on the pedestal, the ice rod very much so can be.
That's very true. All right, flute in hand. BumRush is going to go play the song of our people. Get that bird on the loose. Alright, so while we're activating that flute, looks like Gropemotron did get that hook shot. I'm gonna be really excited to see that. Looks like... Is he considering... Oh, okay, he has to drop down to go back up. He did that bomb jump.
I think it was the in case of needing to clear.
That's true, yeah. Alright, so this is new territory for us on BumRush's side. Gonna be able to see what that medallion is for Meyer. And it is Quake, so we don't have that. Gonna have to find that. That is
Oh, I'm
quite
sure it'll be
unfortunate.
just in the shed here.
That's very true. Looks like it was just 3 bombs and a piece of heart in the shed, so nothing of value there.
And I only half caught that hint on Gropemotron's side about the big red bomb. I saw arrows. I didn't see what else it was.
Yeah, and chat not freaking out too much, so potentially not going to be a big deal. But BumRush is going to be able to get this big key now. That's always a nice thing. So we can progress a little further and clear on out Desert Palace. Alright, so this is going to be our first check over here on the right side of Desert. Oh, and there's the hammer!
At last, the hammer.
Finally.
So let's see, about an hour, 18 hour, 19 in, we'll be getting, finally, our second crystal.
Yeah, indeed. That's kind of wild, honestly. Alright, so BumRush making use of those silver arrows, getting the first 2 of those Landmo down. Very nicely done. Gonna try to deal with this third one, getting that third shot right before he goes in the ground.
And now it's time to start steamrolling through the seed.
Yeah, a lot of this is open now, which is super nice. You know, our Swamp Palace is fully clearable, as well as Palace of Darkness. But still looking for that Quake Medallion. Can't do Skull Woods till we get that Fire Rod from there.
Looks like BumRush was considering going, maybe getting potions and deciding against it.
Yeah, it was a thought, it seems, but it looks like with Red Mill thinking should be okay here. Alright, so BumRush heading in to drain the swamp. Gonna be making that play.
To answer the question in chat, no, we have not actually checked PED.
Yeah, PED still remains a mystery for us. It's not completely, something that can't come into play, but odds are low at this point. The seed has been rather rude, so we'll see what happens.
PED is one of those places that Ice Rod just loves to hang out on, though.
Yeah, very true. BumRush showing us that nice hammer dash to pick that key up. Alright, so Gropemotron going to be getting that flute now. And going to be able to potentially go get that hammer over in the desert area. We'll see if BumRush opts to skip left side of Swamp. They may just skip it initially, but not sure how they're feeling mentally right now. This is an elimination race after all. So, the pressure is kind of on, and this has been a while to see.
And that was a compass, so there is at least one item potentially over there.
Yeah, very possible. BumRush opting to go straight to the back. Gropemotron, meanwhile, activating their flute. BumRush having a little bit of trouble there with that pot, but gets through it just fine. Alright, so Gropemotron heading into the mire area. Meanwhile, we're going to check these two flooded chests on BumRush's side. 20 whole dollars and a big key.
All we need is an upcoming map somewhere, and you're very likely to come back into the fish checking left side. Hey, there's Quake!
But, Yeah, Quake is kind of a big deal. We may see them skip on out and just head on over.
Definitely wouldn't blame them.
All right, so BumRush heading into the Argus fight. Luckily, we do have a tempered sword, so this is going to make this nice and easy. Just one swipe with that sword is going to take these things down, so shouldn't be too much trouble for him.
No, those puffs are just a little picky about when they go back onto Argus's body.
Yeah, those things can be super annoying sometimes. Sometimes they just cooperate. Pulling out that bow and silver arrows. Going for the one shot, one kill. Gets it. Very nicely done. And it looks like... I think we have 2 items left. On left side or big chest combined.
Yeah, between them 2 items and a map.
All right, and we're going back in, so can't say I blame them here, given, you know, there's not a whole lot left to check. So having 2 items here, that's the exact same number of items that there are in Mire. So very possible to find more progression here.
Yep, and you know one of them is that fire rod that you do need.
All right, big chest. What do you got? You got a map, so 2 items left side. Even more beneficial to go ahead and check this.
Gropemotron definitely happy to see that hammer. As they head to the back of Desert to fight their land molus.
Alright, so BumRush gonna be over here on this left side. It feels, when you're in this situation in a racing scenario and you're committing to the left side, even with boots, it feels like it takes forever. And then, I mean, I'll be honest, if progression doesn't show up here, it just feels like it takes that much longer. Alright, so one of the items is a piece of heart. What's going to be on that right side? Oh, 10 arrows, so nothing of value on left side. So Gropemotron could make up a little bit of time if they decide to not do that. But does a very nice job with Landmo, taking him down, getting that second crystal. Alright, Gropemotron making the play here. Gonna go into, or back into rather, Swamp Palace.
And it looks like BumRush heading for the big red bomb.
Yeah, I like this play. You can kind of route this in while going back to finish up pod.
Oh, I'm going to take the Aga shortcut too.
Timp in chat. BumRushBlitz with the BRB. The big red bomb. I like what you did there. Here we go. $20 and 10 arrows. So that hint that we missed earlier that had something to do with that, it was basically saying, hey, this is useless.
Hey, don't worry about it.
So I mean, these are some small things. I know Gropemotron is behind a decent bit with the way things have panned out, but if Gropemotron gambles a little bit, we know here in the booth those are going to be, you know, solid plays. But you know, obviously he doesn't know that at this point, so we'll have to see if he decides to gamble left side and just leave that bomb behind as well, since he's the one who got that hint.
Grope was the one that got that hint, so he knows to not check the bomb, and if he does skip left side, he could still be very well in good shape. BumRush taking a small moment of, where was I going again in this dungeon?
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like BumRush has unlocked that door. Not going to be able to go to the back now. Gonna have to go get that key, and at this point, given he doesn't know what's there, might as well commit to that left side play.
Well, at the very least, he didn't accidentally flood the key.
That's very true.
Some mistake that I have only made once.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you do make that mistake, it's it's gonna be something ingrained in your mind going forward. That's one of the kind of beautiful things about Rando is like there's opportunity to make a lot of great plays. There's also a lot of opportunity to make bad ones. The bad ones are the ones that kind of, you know, stick into your mind, and that kind of helps develop you as a runner as well. You know, sometimes making a bad play one race or one seed will help you in, you know, the next 5 races potentially. All right, so BumRush here with our man, the myth, the legend, Helmasaur King. Already got 9+ hits in. We got 2 holes in that mask. Just need a few more. Those fireballs doing a number on him.
Yeah, those fireballs are half the work in this fight.
Yeah, they are. Got to that magic number 17 and delivering the one and only silver arrow straight into his head, finishing him off. Very nicely done. Gonna be getting 20 bucks for his troubles, but more importantly, gonna be getting another crystal. So I think at this point, you go dive Misery Mire to see what you can find.
Yep, so you can get that fire rod and head on up to Skull Woods and then possibly check the pedestal and cry when Ice Rod's on.
Yeah. I will say that Gropemotron's in an interesting spot. Now, keep in mind, Gropemotron already has cleared thieves. So this race is much closer than it appears if pedestal is coming into play.
Absolutely, because that's one less dungeon that he has to take care of in order to get whatever the item would be on pedestal, if it is the ice rod.
And the only, I guess, big difference, you know, BumRush could make up a little bit of time if having to do thieves, only due to having those boots when going in. But I think, you know, given the scenario, he would have to check the, you know, big chest. He has that hammer, so that could be a potential time save. That's one of those rare things there. I honestly think that silver arrow that BumRush just fired hit the hitbox of that laser, and then it just like warped off screen. That doesn't happen often, but when it does, yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, I've seen some arrows do some really crazy stuff as of late. Like in one of my recent races that I did, I actually fired an arrow at one of the skeleton guys, and it hit him, I think at the same time as I swung my sword, and it didn't instantly kill him.
Oh wow, that is interesting. Using those iframes, I guess.
Found the one way to use iframes to a disadvantage.
Well, Gropemotron took on Argus and took him down. Give him that crystal. So very nicely done. There's our big key. So potentially a Godmire, but we know we got to go do left side, at least for a fire rod.
Yep, and being still on the hunt for the ice rod, when does that second item show up? BumRush, I think, getting turned around just a little bit in Misery Mire. Remembering that, oh right, I need to go this way to get the other check. Because in all honesty, who wants to be in Misery Mire?
Nobody. Nobody wants to be here.
Even when you have to be here, you don't want to be here. Having to relight those back torches.
Gonna be worth it though. Gonna get that fire rod.
Gropemotron hot on BumRush's heels, having opted to go into Mire before finishing off Pod.
Look at how surprised I am. That is a fire rod.
Gasp. Still a couple more checks to check in Misery Mire before heading on to Vitreous. See if BumRush goes and checks those, or just heads right on to that big ol' eye. Well, there's the item, so that answers that question.
All right, so off we go to the big ol' eyeball with all the little eyeballs. But we've got those silvers, so this is going to be a pretty easy fight. This lamp, these dark rooms, not too hard. We can see what we're doing.
Making some quick work with them. There he is, big old Mr. Ugly Eyeball himself.
Getting a few good shots in early on. Did take a hit there from one of them. Gonna have to be a little careful here. But down with that first phase, and just gonna need 2 shots to big ol' eyeball. And down goes Vitreous for BumRush. We've got a fire rod now. We can go check out Skull Woods, but you know, is this gonna be a scenario where Ice Rod shows up on the fabled laser bridge?
It's possible. There is still one location left in the Skull Woods. Head is in play. Neither player has actually checked Spike Cave.
That's true.
Nor have they checked Hammer Pegs.
Yeah, that's also true.
A couple locations available just because of that such late hammer. But likely after Skull Woods is done here, we will be getting that ped check. While Gropemotron heads on into their Vitreous fight.
Yeah, also with those silver arrows, going to be able to kind of roll through this rather quickly. Blink and you miss it. And down goes Vitreous.
Oh, were we doing eye puns? I missed it. Skullwoods, both players go. BumRush with that half magic throwing fire on every which way to kill all those Gibdos.
Yeah, and these guys look like they're really close together right now, but BumRush did make that detour to finish off Pod. Gropemotron has been putting that off, but is going to have to do that at some point. Alright, and down goes Mothula for BumRush, and getting the worst item in the game, or the best, depends on which side of the fence you're on.
I mean, it's the best at lagging the game.
That's true.
Alright, chat, hope you're ready. Here comes your ped check.
Alright, drum roll, please, and... Oh, no.
Oh, no. Could it be a fetch quest for the ice rod, even? We won't know until we find the ice rod.
That would be the worst.
There's still a couple locations you go check first, though, obviously. There's still Hammer Pegs, Basement of Thieves Town, which BumRush may take on right now and actually finish Thieves Town.
Honestly, if I'm in BumRush's shoes, I kind of think I would just go dive TR. Just make the play. See if it happens. And if it doesn't, oops, you know?
Yeah. I kind of agree, but I definitely don't like checking Hammer Pegs first because you are right here.
Okay, yeah, they're not going into Thieves first. They are doing Hammer Pegs, as you said. So this is this I'm okay with. This I might do. But Gropemotron finishing off Mothula, getting that crystal, so nicely done. Let's see what Hammer Pegs has. Oh,
It's the
baby.
ice rod.
See, I might have just left that. You know, I'd be going through Turtle Rock and everybody else would be in go mode. Well, this is going to wrap up rather nicely. You're going to be able to just head on up to Turtle Rock for the first time in go mode. Just run through it. And then we'll be off to GT.
Just run and done. We are in go mode at 146 and change for BumRush. Meanwhile, Gropemotron going and taking a little bit of thought time into Pod, try and sort out some ideas on where they want to go after this.
Yeah, and that could be, I don't want to word it this way in a way, but it could be a little disastrous for Gropemotron if they don't go back. They may make that play up the mountain after this.
And dead rocked on BumRushBlitz aside. I don't remember if it's after you turn them to stone or if you have to hit them before they turn to stone. I know you can use magic powder on them to actually kill them.
Unfortunately, you have to do it before, so you have to hope that you don't, don't get them to run into you. BumRush thinking about checking that hint tile, realizing, hey, I'm in go mode. I don't need to check that.
Besides, it's probably just a rude hint anyway.
It probably could have just been the ice rod is under. It requires a hammer.
Given the way that the hits in this season has been going so far, yeah, very likely. Never mind the fact that you need a hammer for that hint.
Yeah. Alright, BumRush doing a nice job here with this tile room, or rather, torch room. Another small key, and 20 bucks, so looks like the big key is going to be deeper into the dungeon.
Either in the chain shop room or on the lava bridge or whatever you want to call that thing. Tube room.
Yeah, that lava island chest. That could be where it's at.
And it's looking like that's where it is.
Now, see, they could do what I've done a lot, and in tournaments. They could just skip it entirely and then try to go through the door and realize then, oh, I don't have a big key, and then have to go back. If you like wasting time, it's a really good strategy.
Plan for 30 minute to 2 minute loss of time. It's a good old thinker's moment.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like Gropemotron making the gamble into Turtle Rock without the ice rod.
Yeah, like I said, this seems like a smart play, but unfortunately that one overworld check has that ice rod that you're looking for. You hate to see that happen, but you know, in any other situation, I'd say this is a good play.
Unfortunately, we have hindsight.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of being in the booth.
Gropemotron telling us that yes, indeed, that tile was very useful for us, telling us about that shovel in the castle about an hour and 40 ago. But yeah, I definitely don't blame Gropemotron for making the ice rodless play, because a lot of times ice rod does make its way into Turtle Rock, and like you said, there's a lot of like locations that we haven't gotten to check because we didn't have the hammer for so long. You don't think about those locations like, well, what if it's there? But they're all just bits of one-off locations. It just feels bad.
All right, we got that key, so off we go. Not even going to worry about Laser Bridge today. Kind of wondering where that fourth sword is, but we may not find it. We got all three that we have, you know, super quick.
And bum rushing into their Trinex fight.
That heads up play to make sure you switch to that fire rod before the head starts exploding, because you can't pause while that's happening. Making this fight a little faster.
And helping you guarantee that you don't have any ice on the ground.
Exactly. A little too early on the spin there, but no worries. We've already got 4 shots in. Down goes Trinex for Bum Rush. So, we've got 7 crystals. We're headed to GT. We don't have a bot, but we can have some fun in chat. I know you guys like doing this thing, so get those big key guesses. 1 to 22 for Ganon's Tower. So, Amarith, what do you got? What's your number for GT?
I'm always the evil person. I go with 22. It's tile room.
All right, I'm going to go with a nice solid 8. So we will see how this goes. I like how Calvin thinks. Calvin and I are thinking alike.
Because see, most people think that I go tile room just because I'm evil, but it's also because I want to reward those people. I decide, let's make that strange play and do tile room first.
Oh, man. That is a strange play. I mean, if you feel behind, sometimes you'll see people do it for sure. Like, it's a heck of a gamble. All right, so number 1, Piece of Heart. Number 2, Small Key. Let's see what Bum Rush decides to do. Kind of thinking about it. It looks like we are going to go right side. This could potentially be tight. Already lit that other torch. Is it going to stay open long enough? Oh, it doesn't, quite. Unfortunately.
Well, should definitely have it this time.
Yeah, much easier this time. All those enemies are out of the way. There we go. All right, so we got 2 checks done. This next room is going to be 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Nice bottle.
A blue goo. Oh my goodness, all the health is hanging out here in GT. All right, so no big key just yet, but we've got 17 hearts now.
Gonna pick up a key here real quick and head left side, it looks.
All right, number 7 on Bob's torch, $300. So Bob lives.
8 through 11 coming up here in the Stalfos room.
Number 9 is that magic number. Blackwax hitting it on the head. Congratulations. You picked the right number. You get 1,000 internets for today. That is your prize. Do with it what you will. But we're off to fight Aga 2 and a big pig.
And Gropemotron off to try and figure out where in the heck that ice rod is.
Yeah, and the way this is shaking out, this is BumRush's to lose. Just has to execute down the stretch here.
Looks like Gropemotron is thinking Spike Cave.
Using that fire rod, making use of that half magic, taking down all those Zyzags. And Spike Cave, just 20 bucks for Gropemotron.
Nice magic refill there for BumRush. We continue the Pyromancer's journey up GT.
Alright, so here we are in the Land Mode 2 fight. Now, I was about to say, BumRush is going to have to be a little careful here with their magic, but does have that blue goo. So that is always a nice little thing to have up your sleeve. It looks like it's going to be needing that as well.
And some green goo as well from earlier.
That's true. Forgot totally about that one. I think Gropemotron has sniffed it out, though. Heading on over to Hammerpeg game.
Yeah, I think all they had left really was Hammerpegs, Bottom of Thieves Town, and Pedestal. So definitely on the right track now. And hey, there's that pesky ice rod. BumRush taking a moment to grab that full magic bottle up there and make sure they don't despawn the tower. I think I managed to do that, my first rando seed I ever did, and I couldn't figure out what I did.
That's always a big feels bad when that happens.
A lot of it was just confusion, because it's, you know, the first time it happens, if you don't know about it, it's, where is everything? What's going on?
Yeah, indeed. Alright, so here we are at Moldorm 2. Let's see. Looks like he is fighting him. Doesn't look like, let's see, Ramond is the mentor. Looks like not going to be teaching any hovering here, which is kind of sad. I'm really hoping that somebody does that. I would love to hear Axial have to sing a song in one of the podcasts coming up.
And if you want, I'll get on practicing that for one of my future matches.
Oh man, yeah. I know that Axial made that joke in in one of the podcasts, so I had to allude to it.
Because hey, if I could even get close to it, I'll give it a shot to at least try to pull it off once.
Giving everybody the dream. Here we are at Aga 2 on BumRush's side, and 2 hits in already. Kind of a weird spot there. Got a 3rd in, so got a 2 and a 1. Gonna need 3 more, and unfortunately, that one not going to plan. Kind of some weird patterns. 2-1-0 is our current cycle. Need just 2 more now.
Geometry Wars is a bit rough today.
Yeah, it is. What is it? 2-1-0. Man, I've already lost it.
2-1-0-1-0-0, I think.
This is going to be the one right there. There we go. All right, so we've got a Tempered Sword. We've got Silver Arrows. We've killed Aga 2. We found all 7 crystals. Tensions are high for these guys because they both know this is an elimination race. We're off to fight a big pig. And that is all that is separating BumRushBlitz from advancing, getting that salty run back against the Daddy Gamers.
Alright, that's it for phase 1 right there. Starting up with fire bat time.
And down to 3 hearts. Oh no! Dashed into him, trying to get another hit in.
We got a fairy?
Oh.
Yep, we do.
All right, well, we can be a little reckless. We got fairies. See, I totally forget what's in the bottles.
I believe BumRush only has a blue potion remaining. And still about 6 or 7 hits left to get in on Ganon. I'm gonna take advantage of that fact that we got the blue potion and just do some cape hits.
Alright, so we have made it into phase 3. Got a nice amount of health here. Just need 2 more shots. Make it 1 more shot. And we'll be on to phase 4.
Just a couple silver arrows away. And killing the pig.
Ooh, taking a hit there. Taking 2. Trying to make sure not to fall off that ledge. Not getting a torch glitch. That's okay, though. Got 1 silver shot in. Just need 3 more.
Those bats doing some work on BumRush. I believe that was arrow 3, so just 1 more.
Yeah, it's just 1 more. This is a little tense here. It looks like he is getting it set up. And down goes the pig for BumRush. And the sword is in the air, so that bridge is going to spawn. We're not walking off no ledge today. We're going to be crossing that gap. Get those GGs in chat for BumRush. going to be crossing that line, taking first place today with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 50 seconds.
As Gropemotron finishes their Trinex, and will begin ascending their Ganon's tower shortly.
And we'll see if we can get these guys in for an interview. Give us just a moment. And we don't have usable audio for Gropemotron, so we'll see if we can just have this music looping through. This has been wild. I'm hoping they're going to want to come for an interview. Just send them a message in the IRC. Yeah, this was just a wild seed. Everything was kind of
all
linear.
over the place.
It was a little linear, but at the same time, it was like, you know, there's so many 9,000 IQ plays that you have to make, you know, to get the God route on this. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. This was definitely a harder seed to kind of read and figure out where you need to go to get everything.
And honestly, like, you know, a lot of people hate this, but this is huge. Like, I think seeds like this are great training tools. And for a tournament based around learning, and that being kind of the main goal of it, this is a huge learning tool. Just kind of see like some of the wild things this randomizer can make you do.
Yeah, everyone's got their stories of, oh man, I had to do X and Y to get this item, and just, oh man, how crazy that seed was. It just sort of falls into that category of one of those seeds that's just, you're gonna remember this one for a while.
And the legal drugs on the pedestal. We saw that, but I like that play on words there.
Gropemotron doing me a little bit of a scare there. Getting a good way up the tower now into their Lenmolus 2 fight.
Yeah, Gropemotron obviously gonna finish this out. I would probably do the same thing in their shoes. Unfortunately, this is going to be Gropemotron's exit from this tournament, but not gonna be, hopefully not an exit from all of the action. There's still things to learn here for sure. But yeah, this is
There we go.
sad part of the tournament, obviously. But we are joined in chat now by BumRushBlitz.
I am here.
Yo, GG!
Yeah,
Congratulations.
GG. That was a big one.
Yeah. So we were kind of discussing a little bit before you joined. This seed, honestly, it wasn't fully linear. Kind of was, but at the same time,
yeah.
there were so many 9,000 IQ plays you'd have to make to god route this.
Right. Yeah, that's what Ramond was saying too. Is like he was trying to figure out the the god route, and even then he was like, wait, what would you even have to do? Like it's such like ballsy plays if you were to try and god.
Yeah, it's like very low percent plays. We made the comment when you guys got Titan's Mitts and the Bombos medallion inside of Pod. The first thing that came to mind was, oh, pendant ice palaces in Logic. Who wants to do that without a hammer, especially? But you had to.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. I actually forgot to mark that I even had Bombos for a little while. So it wasn't on my tracker, and I was like, and then eventually I was like, wait, where don't I have Bombos? Couldn't I do that? And then I was like, you know what? We should just go do Ice Palace. I feel like that's kind of where it's leading us, and then it turned out to be the case.
That was a good read. Both of you guys, if you go back and watch this, you'll see both of you guys did kind of the same things throughout. And when you went into Ice, I think that was when Gropemotron decided to go ahead and clear Thieves Town. So then we got a little worried. There was an item left in the big chest, so hammer could have come into play. We were thinking ice rod down the stretch, but obviously we didn't have to go into Thieves or into the back of Thieves, so
right.
It worked out for you rather nicely.
Yeah, it was nice being able to skip basically half of Thieves Town.
Yeah, not having to do Thieves, especially pendant Thieves, always a nice thing. But so this, I will say, this is going to advance you to play against the Daddy Gamers for that final spot out of Group C.
It's gonna be our long-awaited rematch. We played in the first round, so we're gonna have to see who continues on after that.
Yeah, I was seeing that, and I was thinking, man, this is the opportunity for a nice salty run back for you.
Yep.
So you may not want to say this, but from week 1 to now, or going into week 3 coming up, do you feel like you've made significant improvements as far as things you wanted to learn in this tournament? Going through these first 2 matches and any practice you may have done.
Yeah, I would say I have. One of the big things I've wanted to learn the most is just becoming better at routing and things like that, but also knowing or remembering where items are under pots, like where the half magics are that I don't know about, or the small things like that. And I have been learning a lot from the mentors. They're always like, oh, you can go here and do this small thing I might not know about, and it's been all helping so far.
And that's awesome. Those are the things, like, this tournament is. We were saying this a little before you joined, but that is what this tournament's about. So that is awesome.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it so far, and here's hoping I continue on and get more practice.
Well, at minimum, you've got one more match, and I'll wish you good luck here. Hopefully, you can get that salty run back and advance onto the brackets.
Yep, that's what I'm hoping for.
It'll definitely be a game to watch.
Now, is this the last race for this round, or is there another one?
This was the final one on week 2, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah, you guys were last but not least for sure. This was a heck of a seed to watch.
Yeah.
Just with the way things panned out. Good Lord. The Moon Pearl on the pyramid, as we see Ganon exploding for Gropemotron. So GG's in chat for Gropemotron.
GG's.
Yeah, the Moon Pearl there. Just that kind of echoes like Plando-esque.
Yeah, there was a few just spots like that. Wait, what was all in ice again? It was the hammer in there? No, it was hook shot.
Ice was hook shot, and I believe 2 junk items like heart piece and I think rupees.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane.
Though, one thing that Gropemotron did check in ice that you didn't when they did go there was that big long room with the bumper and the spikes all over the place and the fire bars. There was a hint for the big red bomb saying that it was just cash and arrows.
Oh, okay. That's something I guess I must have just completely forgot to get.
Yeah, honestly the big gap right here in you guys' 2 finishing times. You left Skullwoods and checked hammer pegs before you went up to Turtle Rock, whereas Gropemotron went ahead and that was the point he decided to go finish off Palace of Darkness and then went straight for unfortunately went straight for TR and had bypassed the ice rod entirely.
Oh, so he thought it was in there. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I made the same thing. You go back and watch this, you'll hear me say, this is where I'll just go straight to Ice Palace. And Amarith here said, you can check hammer pegs, and lo and behold, everyone's in go mode but me at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
And still no response from Gropemotron in the IRC. Trying to see if he would like to join us for an interview here to wrap this up.
Yeah, Ramond in chat and Twitch there. Yeah, I believe as soon as you guys got the 3rd item, you guys just bounced on out and were looking for everything else you needed at the time.
Yeah, and then the other thing that happened is we went to Skull Woods and we were looking for the ice rod at that point, and we saw that the mushroom was on a pedestal. So I was worried that it was going to be, we had to go and get all the pendants to get the mushroom and hope that the ice rod was on that or something ridiculous.
Oh, we definitely thought that too. As soon as we saw mushrooms, like, oh no, please, not the super fetch quest.
Right, yeah, they would have been the worst. That would have made this a real banger of a scene.
All right, and it does look like Gropemotron is going to be joining us here shortly. And while we're waiting for him, I do want to give another shout out to Ralen Tankir for doing the tracking for us today. We do appreciate it. That is sometimes a thankless job, but it is very necessary when you're restreaming a race like this.
Hello, hello.
And we are joined by Gropemotron in chat. GG.
GG, Grope.
So this seed, we were kind of discussing it a little bit. Unfortunately, was one of those where you just kind of had to make a ton of 9,000 IQ plays if you wanted to god route it, considering you had to go with into Ice Palace without a hammer to get a hook shot to kind of start unraveling that chain of progression.
Yeah, I feel like we got punished pretty hard because we found the book early and then went out of the way to do all those book checks and nothing paid.
Yeah, and we made mention of this right before you joined us, but the biggest difference in you guys' time, BumRush and yourself were finishing up Skullwoods around the same time, if I'm remembering correctly. BumRush did decide to go do hammer pegs at that point and found that ice rod, and I believe you went off to Palace of Darkness. So it was a pretty close race, honestly, considering as well that you had finished Thieves Town. It was honestly a very close race, until the whole ice rod fiasco.
Makes sense. That sounds like about what I would have expected. I figured we were competitive at that point. It's just the dip in the TR really punished us. We were banking really hard. It was on mirror.
Yeah, definitely don't blame you. There's a lot of checks on TR when it's coming down to the wire like that. That's just, well, the Ice Rod does like to be there in Turtle Rock sometimes.
And I asked BumRush this question, so Grope, I'm going to ask you as well. You know, we're 2 matches into this tournament. Unfortunately, this is the end of your tournament run. But do you feel as though you've learned some things or made any improvements as a player, or just improved any skill throughout this game with these couple of matches being with the mentors?
Oh yeah, 100%. Just little things. I have to go back and watch the VOD because you're focused so hard on the actual race itself. But there were so many little things both of my mentors have said. Oh, you should do this from this way, or you should check this next because X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh, I never thought about that. That's something that never even crossed my mind. And so it was a worthwhile experience, even if I, went 0-2 and got knocked out.
And that's awesome, because see, that, as we kept saying, I've been harping on it a little bit. That's what this tournament's about. Yeah, it's, we're doing the whole competitive thing, and that's nice, but when it comes down to it, being able to improve, that's kind of where this whole idea of a tournament started. So that's super encouraging to hear as well from you, that that you have learned some things from this. Well, so runners, any final thoughts on this seed before we wrap up?
Moonpearl on Aghanim is pretty gross.
The thing that terrified me, and I wish I had a camera on because my face would have been amazing, was when I checked the pedestal and it said the mushroom was there, and I was like, oh no, the Ice Rod is going to be on mushroom.
I thought the exact same thing too.
We kind of had a moment here in the booth of, oh no, that could come into play. And honestly, if it would have, that kind of Grope would have helped you out a little bit there. Having 2 pendants versus the 1. This is why we play rando, though. Sometimes it shakes out the way you want it to, and sometimes unfortunately it doesn't.
Yep, that's just rando for you.
Yep, that's the way it goes. Sometimes your decisions pay off, and sometimes they just don't.
Well, a big GG to both of you again, but we are going to wrap things up here. Amarith, any final thoughts here on this seed from you here in the booth?
Those hint tiles need to stop being so rude going forward.
Oh man, I will agree with that. So, well, let's go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, runners, for putting on the show for us. It was fantastic, and best of luck to both of you with learning, to progress as players here in Rando. BumRush, best of luck in your rematch here. We'll see. Be looking forward to that race next week. But for now, we are going to be signing off. Twitch, thank you so much for being here and chat with us. Be sure to give these runners a follow. Their names, as they are on the screen, are their Twitch handles as well. So I'm sure they would appreciate it. So for Ralen and Amarith, I am Daaanty. Had a great time with you guys today, and we'll see you for the next one.
Have a good night.